The current state of Dune Awakening isn't good. Patch 1.2.10.0 has done more harm than help, and right now the game is sitting in a really bad place. PvP has been gutted, risk has been reduced, and the sense of stakes that made this world exciting is fading fast. What's worse is the overall player sentiment. People aren't just frustrated anymore, they're leaving. I'm seeing more and more players say they're putting all their gear and resources in the bank and walking away until the next major update in 2026. That's a long time to ask people to wait, especially in a live service game that's already struggling to hold on. And the crazy part is that all of this happened because of changes that on paper should have been good. The instanced loot system was supposed to fix one of Dune Awakening's longest running frustrations: the endless arguments and server drama around loot camping. Before this patch, a single chest at a high tier site could spark hours of conflict. And while that chaos kept PvP alive, it also locked smaller or newer groups out of meaningful rewards. Instanced loot solves that. It makes exploration fairer, it rewards individual effort, and it eliminates a system that basically favored whoever could control a single location all week. It's a smart and modern MMO mechanic, the kind of thing that should have been in the game from day one. But timing is everything, and that's where Funcom missed the mark. Rolling out a change like this now, when most servers are already quiet, stripped away one of the few remaining reasons players had to log in and fight. The large-scale battles, the ambushes, the rivalries, they've all vanished because there's no longer a focal point to draw people together. On high-pop servers like Harmony or PAX, you can still find those moments, but everywhere else the world feels empty. Instead of creating more opportunities for PvP, instanced loot has accidentally spread the remaining player base too thin. It's not that the system is bad, it's that the population is too low to sustain it. And without merging servers or boosting activity, it's turned what should have been a step forward into one more reminder of how lifeless the deep desert has become. That's why I believe Funcom needs to merge servers, and they need to do it now. This isn't just a matter of convenience or optimization. It's the lifeline the game desperately needs. Right now, Dune Awakening servers are fractured islands, each with their own dwindling communities, each slowly drying up as players log off for good one by one. By linking multiple servers into a single shared deep desert, Funcom could reconnect those isolated groups without forcing anyone to abandon their sieges or rebuild from scratch. It's the one move that could immediately restore player interaction, which is the heart of any MMO, and it would breathe life back into the open world overnight. You'd see trade routes active again, organic PvP skirmishes breaking out, and a living desert that actually feels populated rather than scattered and silent. This kind of merge wouldn't just fix the social side of the game, it would make every other system work better too. Instanced loot would finally serve its purpose, giving players more places to explore and compete rather than fewer. The economy would stabilize as active players cross paths more often. Resources would circulate again, and that sense of living among others that Dune Awakening once promised would start to feel real. It's not an easy fix, and the tech involved in doing that is probably a nightmare, but it's the only move that addresses the real problem: isolation. Because no amount of new content, balance tweaks, or quality of life updates will matter if there's no one around to experience them. Merging servers isn't just about performance, it's about survival. The problem is, I don't think Funcom plans to do this anytime soon. If it happens at all, it'll probably line up with the massive endgame overhaul they've been teasing for release in early 2026. And that's the issue. Waiting that long assumes the current player base will still be here when the overhaul arrives. They won't. Right now, the game feels like it's holding its breath, stuck in limbo while the developers quietly build something new behind the curtain. Meanwhile, players are running out of patience. The few who are still here are logging in, seeing the same empty desert and realizing that there's just nothing left to fight for. By the time that update finally lands, the question won't be whether it's good, it'll be whether anyone's still around to care. That's why the timing is so critical. Merging servers and addressing population density now would give Funcom a chance to stabilize the game long before that major update hits. It would create activity, generate buzz, and most importantly, buy them time. Players might be willing to wait for new in-game content, but not if every login feels like a ghost town. Right now, Dune Awakening doesn't need another promise of what's coming next year. It needs visible action today. Otherwise, this long development gap becomes a death sentence. And by 2026, the name Dune Awakening will just be another reminder of what could have been. We've all seen this before, almost beat for beat. Warhammer 40k Darktide is the perfect example of a game that had everything going going for it and still fell apart because the studio didn't act fast enough. When Darktide launched, it had some of the best first-person PvE combat I've ever played. The atmosphere, the melee, the gunplay, all incredible. But it was buried under bugs, crashes, poor optimization, and a progression system that felt half-finished. Most players gave up, not because the core gameplay was bad, but because the game didn't respect their time. Players waited for fixes that never came, and by the time Fat Shark finally pulled it together, it was too late. The player base had already moved on. That's the nightmare scenario Funcom is staring down right now. Darktide did eventually become a fantastic game. Genuinely. If you were to play Darktide today, it's polished, balanced, and worth every minute of your time. But not very many people are around to see it because that first impression destroyed trust. The same risk hangs over Dune Awakening. It has the gameplay foundation to be great, but it's burning through goodwill faster than Funcom can rebuild it. And whether that's about money or mismanagement doesn't matter to players. The result is always the same. Once that trust is gone, getting it back is nearly impossible. And the parallels go deeper than just circumstance. Both Darktide and Dune Awakening share the same parent company, Tencent. And Tencent has a history of releasing unfinished or early access games under a full release label. Whether that's about chasing revenue or running out of development time, it doesn't matter. The result is the same. Gamers get burned, communities collapse, and studios spend years trying to fix what never should have shipped broken in the first place. Funcom can't afford to make that same mistake. And that's why server merges matter. It's not just a technical adjustment or a back-end solution. It's the single biggest decision that could determine whether Dune Awakening survives the next 6 months. And beyond the gameplay benefits, there's a deeper reason why merging matters. Perception. A move like that tells the community that Funcom understands the urgency and that they're willing to make hard calls instead of quietly waiting for 2026. It would show action, not promises. Even players who have already quit might look back if they see a developer taking bold steps to fix the problem head on. It's the kind of move that rebuilds trust and signals confidence in the future of the game. Because right now, people aren't leaving out of anger, they're leaving because they've stopped believing Funcom will actually do something. A large-scale merge would be the first real sign that maybe, just maybe, the studio is finally ready to fight for Dune Awakening instead of just maintaining it. Having said all that, there is another possibility, one that we've actually seen happen before. Look at Helldivers 2. That game has gone through multiple crashes, controversies, and rough patches. Yet every single time, Arrowhead Studios has managed to turn it around. When servers melted at launch, they fixed it. When balance patches backfired, they adjusted quickly. When the community turned against them, they listened, communicated, and earned that trust back. And because of that transparency and responsiveness, players have rewarded them for it. They've come back multiple times in massive numbers. Helldivers is now one of the most successful live service games ever released. And not because it was perfect, but because the devs were humble enough to fix things fast and publicly. That's the kind of redemption arc Dune Awakening could have if Funcom learns to move with the same speed and honesty. And that's what makes the current situation so frustrating, because the same potential is sitting right here. Beneath the frustration, the missteps, there's the bones of an incredible game. The framework is solid, the setting is unmatched, the systems for crafting, survival, and faction warfare are already capable of supporting something special. Everything needed to make Dune Awakening thrive is already in the game. It's just buried under slow updates, poor communication, and shrinking player interaction. That's the irony. The foundation of greatness is already there, but it's being wasted. The difference between failure and a Helldiver-style comeback comes down to one thing: how fast Funcom reacts, and whether they can reconnect with the players who still care enough to hope. The main difference with those two games, though, is scale. Helldivers is a tight, focused experience. Dune Awakening is a massive MMO survival hybrid that's harder to balance, harder to patch, and slower to fix. That's why I think the odds are stacked against it. Not because the game can't be great, but because history shows that most live service games never get that second chance. And the few that do, like Helldivers, are the exception, not the rule. Funcom has said that they want Dune Awakening to be a 10-year game, a massive, evolving MMO survival experience that grows and adapts over time. On paper, that kind of long-term vision is exactly what a project like this needs. But if you're planning for 10 years, you also have to plan for year one. And that's where Funcom has completely dropped the ball. Anyone who's been around live service games for more than 5 minutes knows the first few months after launch are everything. That's when you build trust, stabilize your systems, and prove to players that you're in control of your own product. Instead, Funcom launched Dune Awakening with major bugs, population issues, and no contingency plan for what would happen when servers started thinning out. For a studio that's been very vocal about its ambitions, the lack of basic foresight is baffling to me. You can't talk about decade-long plans when the day-to-day experience is crumbling. What makes this even harder for me to accept is that Funcom had the resources to do it right. The Dune license is huge. Legendary Pictures is behind it. They had a AAA budget, over 400 developers, and the attention of an entire fan base ready to dive in. The game sold over 1 million copies. A dream start for any new IP. And yet somehow all of that momentum has evaporated. There's no reason a studio with that level of backing should be struggling with population management and unbalanced systems this far after launch. If you're going to claim the mantle of a 10-year MMO, you have to act like one. You have to move faster, communicate more openly, and think long-term in a way that keeps people believing in the project, not wondering if it'll survive another patch cycle. Still, despite everything, I can't help but hope, because I've played enough Dune Awakening to know that what's underneath all the problems is something truly special. The framework for a great MMO survival game already exists. It just needs leadership that can see the urgency of the situation, merge the servers, bring players back together, deliver meaningful updates faster, show us as players that you're listening, and maybe, just maybe, this game can still find its footing before it's too late. The truth is simple. Dune Awakening is in crisis, but crisis doesn't mean death. There is still time to turn this around if Funcom acts now. The longer they wait, the harder it gets to recover, and I don't want to see this game join the list of live service titles that had everything they needed to succeed but ran out of time. Thanks for watching this breakdown on the current state of Dune Awakening. I stream Dune Awakening regularly along with other major new releases, and I cover everything from Dune Awakening to the bigger picture of where the gaming industry's headed. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and keeps this whole thing moving forward. And as always, remember, it's only GG when you win.